Ni hao, and welcome back to Jade Empire, where we're going to learn some exposition. I'd like to know more about my amulet.
The amulet is an...
Yep. I saw Lee take it from me. How can I still use it?
The amulet is a powerful tool, but it is only a tool. When you were first learning to unleash the power within you, the amulet helped you to focus your mind and energy.
I see.
But you are a spirit monk. The power of the water dragon was always in you, not in the amulet. Now you are strong enough to draw on that power without the amulet.
That's useful. If the power is mine, what does the amulet do?
It is a tool and a focus. It allows you to understand the power you can wield, and to use the essence gems that so many discount as trinkets.
Right.
We alone can draw on more than one gem at a time. You can do this, even without the physical amulet, now that you know your true nature.
That seems convoluted. If the amulet's only a focus, why did Lee take it from me?
You no longer need the amulet, but Lee has a use for it. Lee's brother, Sunhai, consumed the water dragon's power, but without the amulet, it was a long and slow process.
Oh.
Even after 20 years, he was not strong enough to defeat you. Had the Lotus Assassins brought him enough pieces of the amulet, he would have been far more powerful.
Well, he wasn't too easy.
But Sun Li has the amulet, making him far more dangerous. With it, he can draw on the water dragon's power much faster. Unless you stop him soon, he will become invincible.
Right. Why were the pieces of the amulet scattered across the Empire?
I did not want the amulet to fall into the hands of our enemy. When I realized the battle was lost, I shattered it into several pieces.
Three pieces.
I gave the pieces to my apprentices and told them to flee to the farthest reaches of the Empire. The core of the amulet was given to the young monk who fled with you.
I see. That would explain why Lee had it.
I knew the core alone would be enough for you to start discovering your true power. But anyone else would need to find all the pieces to use the amulet.
Great. Let's see, the draining of the water dragon?
The amulet is a powerful... But you...
Yeah. Let's ask something else.
I will do my best to answer whatever questions you might have.
Thank you. Do you have any advice?
Only that you should do as the water dragon asked, and try to restore the fountains of Dirge.
Yeah, okay, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, how do I restore fountains?
The fountains were tainted with human blood, which shattered their seals. The blood that stained them is gone. Replacing the seals should restore them.
Alright. More questions?
I know the monastery well. If there are questions you wish to ask in your quest to restore the fountains, I will do my best to answer them.
Right. Tell me more about the water dragon.
I will try my best to explain the glorious mysteries of the god we serve.
Thank you. What was the water dragon god of, exactly? I kind of figured water and death.
The water dragon is the shepherd of the dead. When people die, their spirits must make the journey from the mortal world to Dirge, where they can pass into the afterlife.
I see.
The water dragon guides the souls on their journey, leading them here to Dirge. Or at least she did before the Emperor defeated her.
Ah.
Now the dead have no guide and Dirge is defiled. The portal to the afterlife is sealed. The dead cannot find peace, and their spirits must wander the mortal world.
Mm-hmm. How did the Emperor take her power?
With the fountains corrupted, the water dragon was vulnerable. The Emperor cut her deeply, but did not kill her, keeping her body trapped between life and death.
I see.
Her body was taken back to the Imperial City, where it provides an endless supply of water. That was how Sun Hai ended the drought. If the water dragon's body were destroyed, she might be able to be reborn and reform herself. But while her body survives, her spirit is bound to it.
I see. Good to know. So destroying her body will restore her.
Emperor Sun Hai seized the water dragon's heart and took her power. When Li killed his brother, he would have devoured the heart in turn.
Right.
Destroying her body is part of the process, but that alone will not restore the water dragon. Sun Li must also be defeated, or he will become a god himself.
Right. Can she really bring me back to life?
The water dragon was the guide and guardian of spirits. She could guide them to the underworld, so perhaps she can guide you back to life.
I guess it's working backwards.
But with Dirge defiled, she is all but powerless. She will only be able to help you if you restore the fountains and cleanse Dirge.
Right. Well, let's ask something else.
I will do my best to answer whatever questions you might have.
Thank you. I'm curious about the spirit monks and Dirge.
I would be honored to help you learn more about our order and your legacy.
Thank you. Said I was born here at Dirge?
Many of our order were brought to us as children. Orphans we raised to serve our great mistress. But a few children are born here at the monastery.
Well, I guess get enough men and
Both
women
your
together.
mother and father were spirit monks. You were born right here in Dirge and bathed in the sacred fountains, mere days before we were destroyed.
Quite a baptism.
Both your mother and father died in the attack, along with the rest of us who served the water dragon.
What were my parents like?
They were good people. Their love for each other was matched only by their devotion to the water dragon herself.
I guess I should have expected that.
Had they survived, you would have been raised here in Dirge. They would have instructed you from birth in the duties of a spirit monk. It is a tragedy you never knew them.
Well, it's a blessing that I was able to choose my own path, more or less. What do the spirit monks do exactly?
We served the water dragon as her guardians and protectors. We saw to the needs of her physical form, maintained Dirge, and honored her with worship and prayer.
I see. Is that all?
We also served as shepherds for the dead. Most spirits came to Dirge in time, but sometimes a spirit was unable or unwilling to leave the mortal world behind. We would seek out these lost spirits. Those with unfinished business or those who had suffered traumatic deaths would need our help to reach Dirge.
Yep.
But now that the water dragon is gone, none of the spirits can find their way to Dirge. And those already here are trapped. The portal to the afterlife is sealed.
I see. Let's see. Tell me more about Dirge the place.
Dirge is a place between. It exists in both the mortal world and the spirit realm, and it leads to the underworld itself. It is a bridge between life and death. Once it was a holy place, but now it is defiled. Dirge has become a place of great evil and corruption, a corruption that has been growing for the past 20 years.
I see. Born, do we heard? I think we should move on.
You are probably right. We must restore the water dragon's power before Sun Li gains full command of her powers.
Right. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, we just can continue this as a video. So, we gain a new ally. Abbot Song. Attack Monk Spade. Support. Recovers your chi, focus, and health. The Abbot of the Doomed Spirit Monks Abbot Song serves the Water Dragon even in death. His hope for redemption lies with you. I also have access to Zinbu if we really want. But yeah, we're gonna put you on support because, yeah, you recover everything. And yeah. Ooh. Ritual of Binding. The ability to bind a spirit is one of the great honors that the Water Dragon has bestowed upon us. Therefore, we must always remember to treat this gift with the proper respect. When you bind a spirit, you become guardian of that spirit. It was as if though the spirit of your child. Through it is your duty to return the spirit to the Water Dragon for her judgment. Until you give the spirit over to her, you are fully responsible for that spirit. Since the spirit will obey your every command, you must always have the best interest in the spirit in mind while it is under your control. You must never command a spirit to do anything that might affect the Water Dragon's judgment of that spirit later on. And though it is most common rule when binding spirits, I repeat it again, under no circumstances will you ever bind the spirit of a living person. Such acts are punishable by death and judgment at the hands of the Water Dragon herself. Okay, so, no binding living people. Got it. Ghosties. Ow. Uh-oh. Got me in a bit of a tempest there. I hate they have all these abilities to, like, keep me frozen. These people have much more hit points. Yeah, it also doesn't help that almost all of my abilities are pointed around towards, you know, my abilities of focus. Also, unfortunately, you cannot modify the amulet while in combat. That's annoying. At least doing this keeps you a bit further away.
The guardian of this fountain is destroyed, and I weep for her. She was once one of our order, but lured by Li's promises of wealth and power, she betrayed us.
Oh, these were spirit monks. Who was she?
This thing is the corrupted spirit of Xiang Wu. During the attack, she and several other spirit monks betrayed us by tainting the holy fountains with human blood.
I see.
Long before the attack, Li sent spies to bribe some of our weaker members. When they tainted the fountains, the power sustaining us against the army vanished.
Mm-hmm. What happened to Xian Wu?
After the battle, the Emperor executed Xian Wu and the others, and he used the power of the water dragon to bind their spirits to the fountains.
I see. How did he bind their spirits?
The binding is a sacred ritual of the spirit monks. We can draw on the power of the water dragon to bind a spirit to us. It is one of our tools for shepherding the dead.
I see.
Even before Dirge was befouled, there were ghosts in the world. Some spirits would become lost in their journey here, or refuse to let go of the mortal world and go mad.
I've seen that.
If we found one of these restless ghosts, we could bind it to us and bring it to Dirge. Then we would release the spirit, so the water dragon could lead it into the afterlife.
I see. So the Emperor did this to Xian Wu.
The binding is a great gift from the water dragon, if used properly. But the power can be abused. The Emperor bound the traitors not to himself, but to a place.
Again, noticed.
The spirit can never escape such a binding. It feels an inexorable pull, but it has nowhere to go. It feels a compulsion to obey, but is never given a command.
Oh my.
The spirit twists and corrupts, and in its agony it goes mad. Binding a spirit to a place is a terrible crime for our order. The only thing worse is binding a living creature.
Mm-hmm. Is that how Sun Qian was bound to Li's armor? Does it have that kind of power?
Binding the living condemns them to a fate worse than death. It forces the subject to obey and robs them of their free will. As a spirit monk, you must never do such a thing.
Right.
The ability to bind spirits comes from the essence of the water dragon inside you. You may not have the power now, but one day you will be able to call upon it when needed.
Mm-hmm.
But this is not the time for lessons or instruction. The Guardian is dead, but you must place the seal on the fountain for it to be fully restored.
Okay. You received Dirge Fountain Seal. Well, let's use that seal.
It worked! The fountain is restored, and the gates to the inner courtyard have opened.
That's good. You lost Fountain Seal. Seal restored, the fountain is now cleansed. Anything else around here? How's the map look? Okay. People fighting amongst themselves.
You have nothing to fear here. Though many dangerous beings dwell in Dirge, these monks and soldiers cannot harm you.
I see. They're ghosts, but we're ghosts. Are these the spirits of those who died in the attack?
The monks and soldiers who fell during the battle are trapped here in Dirge. Caught in a never-ending war. They fight, they fall, only to rise and fall again.
So, Valhalla.
Li cut me down on the steps of the temple. My body fell and my spirit rose. Powerless, I fled toward the outer courtyard, while the battle still raged.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to see if you had escaped. Instead, I saw Li take you, and I found myself trapped out here. The Emperor had sealed the gates behind me.
So you can't get back into the temple.
My spirit cannot leave, Dirge.
Mm.
None of the spirits here can leave. For 20 years, I have been trapped in the outer courtyard, unable to pass through the gates.
Oh.
I cannot say what fate lies ahead. But after 20 years, your return gives me reason to hope once more.
That's good. Hope is good. But hope is going to be for next time. When we come back, well, more of the Land of the Dead. Have a good one, folks.